What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 90s First Podcasting Network. My name is Mike, and alongside my co-host Joe, we take a look at some 90s content that we just can't stop watching. Join us on our flagship show, the 90s First Show. We look at some 90s content that Joe and I are watching, as well as some current stuff, and we end it with a 90s trivia contest. Or join us on Test Your Might, a video game debate show where we battle it out on the current news. Joe hosts as our good buddy Cicero and I try to get the high ground and go 1000 IQ against each other. If you would like to connect with us, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the 90s First. And finally, if you would like to support us monetarily, we have a Patreon. Head on over to patreon.com/the90sfirst to show general support for as little as $1 a month. So whether you're listening to the 90s First Show or Test Your Might, Joe and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope that you have a blessed day.
What is up, everyone? We are back with this week's episode of Test Your Might, our weekly video game debate show podcast. Ooh, that's a mouthful. This week, we are sans Cicero and sans Mike. But don't worry, we replaced them with two stellar dudes. You like that? Stellar? What a great word. Hey guys, why don't you say what's up? Sean, how you doing, man?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Nice.
I just got done playing a tabletop RPG with some internet friends, making mistakes, driving my character like a stolen car. It's great.
All right, you're going to tell us all about it in the What Have You Been Playing section. But for now, let's say what up to Justin. Justin, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. Great to be back. You know, this week I killed off my character in D&D.
Oh, no. But why?
Oh, it was funny. It was awesome and funny.
Okay.
It was
maybe explain a little more in the What Have You Been Playing, because that's role playing.
Oh, sure.
It counts. I'm counting it. You know what? If no one else wants to, it's not their choice. I'm the judge here. So if you are listening or watching us right now, why don't you go ahead and leave us a review, either with whatever podcast thing you're listening to us on, Apple, Spotify, you name it, or if you're on YouTube, hey, I'm waving at you. Just click the button somewhere over there, subscribe, and then the notifications, wherever the bell's at. Honestly, I don't know if this is going to be on the left or the right, but I would love it if you did that. So do it. Do it now. Are you guys ready?
Oh,
We
yeah.
got question of the day.
Yeah.
And it is, what is your favorite game in a genre, but the genre specific, music and rhythm? So shooting over to you first, Sean. Favorite game in the music rhythm genre?
I love this genre, so I had a lot to pick from. I have settled on Crypt of the Necrodancer, which I believe I've said is my favorite game. So,
All right.
It's my favorite one of these.
That does make sense. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
Justin, favorite game in the music / rhythm genre?
I've thought about this for a lot, and Mike's going to be upset because I didn't pick Guitar Hero 2, which is where I started with Guitar Hero games, but I chose Rocksmith. Rocksmith 2014.
Ooh.
Been playing it for years since it came out, and it's a real guitar. You're playing notes and you learn the chords. They disappear over time, so you learn the songs. And it's really taught me a lot on guitar, and I've gotten a lot better over the years.
Sweet. That's awesome. Not gonna lie, I didn't even look at that question of the day question when I was looking over the outline earlier. But I'm gonna assume that rock band counts as a music rhythm genre.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
my choice, obviously, because hello, killer vocals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrible at singing, but I love doing it. And playing drums is super fun. Guitar Hero style guitar. Could have been better with Rocksmith, but hey, who didn't have fun at a high school party, at least for me, playing Rock Band?
Yeah, little known fact, Mike knows me as the Rock Band guy. It is the other game that I've spent a lot of money on. I have 1,600 plus songs. So
holy moly.
I have played a lot of Rock Band in my days, but still Rocksmith for me.
That is outrageous. Because that's like a $1 a song.
Yeah, $1.99 usually.
Yeah, I threw up in my mouth a little bit right there. I'm just saying. All right. For those still listening, and your brain didn't explode right there. we're moving into what have you been playing. So, Sean, tell us more about your, what was it? Your character that died off gracefully, poetically, wonderfully?
Oh, no, Justin's character died.
Oh.
Mine is a fae person. Has not died, likely will not die.
Oh, okay.
It's like an urban fantasy, Anchorage, Alaska. I'm
Nice.
playing a fae. Faes have courts. Usually it's like elements. In this setting, we have the courts are like hopes, fears, and memories. Mine's memories, it's like of traditions. I started out this game about 2 months ago. My first plan of action was to create a ritual that would make vampires be warded away by dabbing.
You mean
because
like-
that's what all the young kids are doing? Yes, that.
For those watching, you're welcome.
It now scares vampires because I rolled decently enough and had help. So that's what I'm doing in the fake Alaska world. But in like video game land, I'm playing. I fell into Pokemon Unite too hard. It's not a
Ooh.
good game. I have a
Uh-oh.
lot of thoughts about it. It's like decent,
All right.
you know, but like there's a lot of design decisions that are bad and also a lot of moral decisions that are bad. So I'm happy to have mostly gotten out of the hours I was playing a day.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
hours with an S.
I've heard good things. I haven't picked it up yet.
I'd try it out. But beware if you have the MOBA curse like I do.
Gotcha. All right. So Justin, your character died off in a
Yes, I've been
poetically
D&D.
hilarious way.
Yeah, I'll be as family friendly as I can with it. But
Love it.
honestly, I'm a ranger, a human ranger, and I led 3 other people into a graveyard where there was quicksand, and everything in my mind led me to believe there was a cavern underneath the quicksand that we were supposed to lead to because we've looked everywhere else around the area.
Gotcha.
And we decided to jump in and have a family-friendly dance battle until we sunk in and died, apparently.
Gotcha. So unlike in the fire swamp, there was nothing underneath.
Yes.
Unfortunate.
Yes, correct. Other than that, I've been playing Death's Door. Got very far in it. I am stuck, and it is up there on my top games of the year.
Ooh.
Visually, sound, everything. It's great. The mechanics in it. I've been getting back into Apex, trying to stay up and play with you. It doesn't work out every time, but
It's pretty
I
late.
have been playing a lot of the new season, and it's good. And the other relaxing game I've been playing is Flight Simulator.
Ooh.
I took a bunch of flights. I've flown from Chicago to Florida, from Florida to California, and it's real time. So you're sitting there for 3-4 hours taking that flight.
Holy moly.
Yeah. I also did
Jeez
a
Louise.
test flight with a fighter jet from Chicago to the White House to see how fast it could get there, and it was a little under an hour. So they can get around pretty quick.
That's pretty quick, yeah. Holy moly. That's impressive.
But it's very relaxing. You can just sit in a party with someone, chat, and fly a plane.
What if you crash though?
And it
Do you have
looks
to start
great.
over?
You don't survive.
Oh, that's
You,
that,
yeah. It clocks all your flight time in hours, so you rank up by doing that, by time spent flying, and
Okay.
successfully landing afterwards.
that's probably a big part of it. I imagine if you crash every
Yeah.
time, it doesn't really count.
Visually on the Xbox Series X, it's 4K, and it looks very good. Very, very good. And it uses live weather and GPS, and it shows live flights in the air, as well as your friends. You can fly along with them. So it's kind of like it's a chill simulation game with a little bit more difficult aspects to it, I guess.
Yeah, it's awesome. Dang. I'm going to try it out. I have it on my PC. I have yet to actually get into it because when I started, it's like an hour of control simulator, and I'm not through that yet.
Yeah. Just go to easy mode and then learn the takeoff buttons, and you'll be fine.
Perfect.
If you crash, but you'll be able to see everything.
I am lucky enough to have an airport like about a mile down the street from me. So I'm excited to take off from the airport in the simulator.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that I had an airport, a small runway about 3 blocks away from me, and now I'm kind of terrified.
Oh, yeah. I could run into your house any day. We hear them all the time over apartment here, but I'm on the ground floor, so the people above me are going to take the brunt of the impact. That's not gruesome. I have been playing Apex as per usual. Shocking. I know everyone just like, whoa, really? Yeah, that's all I've been playing lately. I downloaded it onto my PC. I got a new monitor. It's got 75 hertz, so I can get 75 FPS on it. I've got the my Xbox. I actually pulled it off my TV back here, and I put it down actually right under my monitor, so I can play the Xbox on the monitor as well, which is a little bummer because it's the One X and I can do 4K 60, but it's just easier to play on the small screen than to load it up on the 60-inch, and that's not conducive for a first-person shooter. But yeah, that's it. That's what I've been playing. We're moving into the news. There's just one topic. We got a few in rapid fire. Don't worry, listeners. We got you covered. But the big one is the Nintendo Switch has outsold both the PS3 and the Xbox 360. Dudes, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's bound to happen with COVID going on and everyone locked down. They want to be able to walk around their house and play a game, or have that portability for if they ever do get to go out to be able to continue playing the game. And I believe that a big part of it was Animal Crossing releasing literally when COVID started quarantining, which gave people an outlet to sim a life inside of a video game.
I'm sure it didn't hurt. Sean, what do you think about that?
I guess I would have expected this. You know me, I'm not following the industry that much side of it, at least not the sales side of it.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense in retrospect between what Justin just said and a long enough timeline, and it being supposed to be like two consoles basically with the mobileness. So. Nintendo always sells well, so, except for
that also doesn't hurt,
but except the Wii U.
I mean, yeah, that one came out at a weird time, and it wasn't exactly what they wanted it to be, right?
Yeah, they were kind of jumping the gun a little bit on that.
Yeah,
but
so I did get one because obviously I'm a Nintendo freak, but
same.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
The last Nintendo I had before my Switch was the Game Boy Advanced. I believe it is Advanced and not Advance. Pretty sure.
You missed out on the Wii. That was a good system.
My wife had a Wii, so I got to play on hers.
Oh, there you go.
That was super fun, actually. I liked the Wii. We had the Wii Fit board. I think that's what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super fun. Super fun. All right. Nintendo, always outselling everyone. They don't really have to try even, which is kind of crazy. They just release something and everyone's like, oh, Nintendo came out with something new. Let's buy it. And then they just do, which is bananas to me. I don't know. I need some innovation.
Just that feeling of nostalgia.
I mean, I wouldn't phrase it that. Like, they're clearly trying. Like, they're the ones coming out with the weird, wacky systems. Like, that's trying in a way that Microsoft and Sony aren't. They're trying in one particular direction, which is throw money
that is fair.
At people and graphics.
Throwing money definitely helps. For sure.
It's very attractive.
Yes. Yes, it is. Let's do the rapid fire segments. And
rapid.
We're gonna blow through them.
Oh my! He's on fire!
Rapidly, obviously. Hello. Did you know that the PS5 dev kits were seen on eBay before being delisted? Justin?
I did not know that. But it makes interesting argument. These people that got the dev kits were willing to sell them before the release of the PS5, I'm guessing, or shortly after the release of the PS5. Like, these dev kits, even the devs didn't want them, I guess.
Or they knew they could fetch a fat penny.
Yeah. I'm sure with the
dollars.
shortage. Yeah, with the shortage, I'm sure that was one of their money, throwing money again.
Yep, exactly right. Sean, I don't know if you saw this, but Google tried to buy Epic to maintain a monopoly, according to Epic. So with a grain of salt, But how would you feel about that if Epic was part of the Google monopoly?
I would hate it. I mean, of course, Google. It was Google thought about it, and Epic says this, but also I think there have been legal documents showing that this is the case. Of course, they thought about it. They're a huge company. Huge companies are always trying to make a monopoly. Makes sense. Glad they did.
Yeah, it leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Rare Super Mario Bros. Copy sells for $2 million with an M dollars. Justin, was that you? You do spend money on video games.
I thought about it. No. I saw this story and it was graded so high, with the scale, for being so pristine. The original Super Mario in box and everything, and it's some guy. What was it like? Found in the attic or another story like that. Someone that just had it then decided, it's time to sell.
Because I didn't see the article, but I'm assuming that that's the case. Someone stored it away somewhere, and it sat there untouched, unblemished, just gathering,
just like the
rarity,
just like the last one, right?
Yeah,
where the guy found it in a desk, and $2 million, for one of the most iconic video games ever created, that led this giant train of video gaming into where it's at now. $2 million is actually pretty low in my opinion.
Whoa.
I'm surprised it sold for that.
You are insane.
Well, there's people selling tweets now that are going for that amount of money.
What?
So
you can sell a tweet?
Yeah, you can sell a
NFT?
tweet. NFT. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That is bonkers. Hey, if anyone wants to buy my tweets, holler at me. I will sell them to you way cheaper than $2 million. Sell it for $2. Just hit me up. Actually, go to our Patreon and donate. I'll give you all the tweets you want. Just let me know. You can DM me on Twitter. Sean, Mass Effect Legendary Edition has sold well above expectations for EA. Does this surprise you at all?
It does surprise me. I mean, everyone expected it to do well, but for it to do better than EA, I would have expected EA to have have high enough expectations of what they would get out of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mass Effect raking in them dollars.
Yeah.
It's only to be fair, they did put a lot of work into them. So probably worth it, I would say. I have yet to start playing them, but shout out to Cam. Cam, on the very first unaired episode, convinced me to purchase Mass Effect Legendary Edition because he fought so hard in one of the fights. That I was like, hey, you lost the fight, but you won the war because you got me to spend money on a game that's free on Game Pass if I want to play the bad versions. Quote unquote bad, the originals. That might have been unfair. But kind of crazy and shocking. That was very rapid. And it's time, gentlemen, to test our might.
Test your might.
Now, I have a feeling that this Test Your Might section is going to be a little bit longer, which is why I was kind of going a little fast through the news and rapid fire. We've got some heavy-hitting questions here, and it's going to take a minute to just kind of sluice them out. Are you ready?
I don't think so.
You don't think? Okay. Oh, shoot.
No, I'm as far as I remember, I'm undefeated here. This is going to be another 3, 4. How many questions we got?
Woo, okay.
You're bringing in the fire from the rapid fire. All right. All right. Okay.
With that heat.
I'm ready. Let's get it.
All right. Gentlemen, the PS5 DualSense McDonald's controller leaked. Did you see it? Probably not. But if you did, you'll know now that it wasn't real. However, this is Test Your Might. So what we're going to do is we're going to pitch a controller design from a fast food restaurant. It can be any controller, and it can be any restaurant. Weirdly enough, we're in a situation where both of you are guests to the show. And I don't know who's been here more times. I'd have to go back and look, and right now I just don't have the time to do that. So I'm just going to start with Justin. Justin,
All right.
which controller?
You want me to give?
and which restaurant?
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna choose the Jack in the Box, or I like to call it the Jack in the Xbox.
The Jack in the Xbox. All right. And you're choosing the
Xbox One controller, or Xbox Series X controller.
the Series X controller, not the Duke.
Yes.
All right.
Not the Duke, unfortunately. Sorry.
And Sean, what is your restaurant and controller?
I'm going McDonald's on 64.
McDonald's M64. Okay, I can see why you'd say that. But, Justin, we're throwing it to you first. Tell me about the Jack in the Xbox controller.
I'll give you the visuals. It's gonna be a red controller, just like their new logo,
Awesome.
with white highlights. Other than a few other details, there's going to be small tacos and fries scattered around the handles, burger ingredients as the A, B, X, and Y, and the Xbox logo that glows in the middle is going to be the little Jack in the Box clown face with the hat.
Ooh, all right. Okay. Sean, tell me about this McDonald's N64.
Yeah, I mean, they're most of the way there already. There were just the banana N64 controllers that were just all yellow. Just add a little bit of red accent to that for the McDonald's. And maybe if you like plug it in, there's a little like background character screen thing. Because this is gonna be at their location, so
Oh,
sort simple.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the reason we're going to N64. It's already there. It's already in the McDonald's and it's been there for decades. So
Okay, all right.
it's the perfect combination that's already been, they're working together already.
Justin, fight it out.
All
Tell
right.
me why he's wrong.
I think now if we're going back in time for them to release this N64, it does make sense with the time period.
No, it'll still work today.
Throwing in an N64 inside of a McDonald's restaurant nowadays, kids are going to be like, what is that? They want an Xbox, they want a PS4, they want something that they can relate to nowadays. In my book, the best thing you can do is not only sell the controller but also have a bundle with it. And Xbox already has 7 different Jack in the Box collections, Jackbox Party Pack collections that they can bundle in with this controller when you buy it and get a free code to play all the games with your friends and have that controller to play along with. I think, from my own opinion, instead of giving it to a monopoly like Monopoly or with McDonald's, I think the smaller company should get it. Jack in the Box, I wish we had more out here in the Midwest. I used to get them a lot in California, and it is very good. And even now they're releasing hot mini tacos, which are all red tacos, and those things will look perfect on an Xbox wing or an Xbox handle.
Okay. Sean, why don't you knock him down a few pegs and tell him why he's wrong?
Yeah. I'm did a quick Google right now. There is a McDonald's in Loveland, Colorado today with a Nintendo 64 station right there. It is not currently a branded controller, but I think they're missing out on opportunity. A lot of the kids playing these days are still playing games from Nintendo that are just, progeny of, good N64 games that you can play still. We got Smash Bros. We got the Mario Kart. Kids still play Mario Kart. And you know what? If you're going to release this new controller, maybe you can even make it the Switch has a whole bunch of weird controllers happening. Why not throw in a legacy N64 one, since they're already going to be doing this dual branding situation?
Okay.
Makes sense.
All right.
It's got
People
a
do it
USB.
just because it's weird. It's not a great. I'll admit, not the most. Not the best controller for dexterity. Blanking on the correct word I want here.
Ergonomics. I got you.
Yeah, ergonomics. Yeah, it's not ergonomically sound, but it can be fun. And that's what
yeah, I do understand that. What town was that in?
Loveland, Colorado.
Okay, so we've got one console in Colorado. a blast from the
saying,
past console.
It's been more widespread throughout the decades.
And,
so they have a rich relationship. Is all I'm saying.
And I understand you want to use the N64 controller, and now you're stretching it to allow it to be compatible with the Switch to bring it into the future.
Yeah, I mean, they just did that with the GameCube controller. They've done that with the Game Controller for every system since the GameCube came out.
I would have understood the GameCube controller. I would have understood that. But the Xbox controller is already in the future. It's already here and now. And everyone has one. Everyone has
so we don't need
the new
another
console.
One. We don't need another one because it's already here. Why would you buy just another one with just a stupid clown on the thing? Maybe if the clown popped out like an actual Jack in the Box for like some like extra experience, but you're not even pitching that.
I really don't think that people are going to buy an N64 controller for their Switch when most people would want a GameCube controller, even if it is branded McDonald's, a GameCube controller for the compatibility of the games that are available on the Switch. The fact that the Xbox is in everyone's home, or in most homes, and the fact that it doesn't have a McDonald's logo over it to make people feel like they're eating the fattiest of fast food.
But they aren't, because the logo itself, the controller is just the logo. It's not on the logo.
Correct.
And
correct,
also
but
you have your clown face.
You still buy to support the business, right? So people love Jack in the Box. It's the underdog. And it's not the worst for you to eat. It's not the monopoly of fast food. I think people would be more...
People don't vote with what's healthy for them, first of all. Second of all, we were just talking about a story where the Switch is the highest selling console.
Correct. Yeah.
So you're telling me that your Xbox controller is going to be... Your Xbox system is in more houses than the Switch.
Well, I believe that
which will be both in more houses and in businesses.
I understand that, but the Xbox controller with the theme of Jack in the Box would sell more than an N64 controller for the Switch with a McDonald's logo. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I didn't even hear about Jack in the Box until 10 minutes ago, so I doubt it.
Well, I've heard of both of these. They're both terrible as far as restaurants go. Jack in the Box, really greasy food. McDonald's, really bad tasting food. It'll give you the McStomach ache, the McGurgles, followed by a McBathroom visit. Jack in the Box, similar experiences. I feel like we have a missed opportunity here, but I gotta go with what I've been given. So, based on the arguments, I think I've gotta go with the Jack in the Box Series X controller, but only because Justin was able to smack back pretty hard at the it's not really out there to be used, and you started the argument with inside the restaurant. However, the Switch thing saved you, brought you back, just not quite enough. I think you might be onto something though, because who wouldn't want to use an N64 controller to play Zelda just like back in the day?
I agree completely. Yep.
I mean, you're right. Ergonomics on it, trash. It hurts to hold.
I loved it.
My hands, I held one recently last year. It was the first time I've held one in way over a decade. And my hands don't even fit on the controller anymore, which is hilarious and ironic. My hands are just too big to hold on to either the wings or the middle one. My hand's too fat to fit comfortably and hold the joystick and pull the Z. So it was awkward playing with that. But Justin, you take round one. Sean, very close with the Switch debate. Just missed it though. Just missed it. We're on to round two. In round two, we have PlayStation reportedly focusing on console quality AAA games for the PSVR 2. What IP would make the best console quality VR game? And Justin, you won the last one, so power goes to Sean. Sean, you can either listen to Justin's pitch or choose to go first in this round. Which would you like?
I'll go first.
All right. The floor is yours, my friend.
Yep. I just I gotta start, as always, rejecting the premise that it's gotta be an established IP here.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've already seen, like, some of the best games in VR were unique, or, well, yeah, weren't like established IP. We're talking, like, Super Hot. We're talking about, what is that one with, it's a Thumper, or Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. Those are all non-established IP that thrive in VR. But if we have to go established IP, I think Resident Evil 7 has already proven it's got to be horror. So I'm going to say the next AAA VR game is Nevermind. It is a horror game that was based on responding to biofeedback from like somewhere between 2014 and 2017. It's currently only out on Steam, but I think if they did a sequel with AAA budget, PSVR, it would be the greatest horror experience, greatest VR experience we got.
Okay. Justin, which already obviously established IP should be made into the next console quality VR game?
I do agree that horror is a good pick for VR. I've played many horror games in VR, and it's excellent. I chose to go with a different game that has been released on multiple consoles and does not have a VR option yet without modding. And I think that the next game that they should release AAA is going to be Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5 to be exact.
Okay.
Just the amount of gameplay that is in that game and the amount of customization and different aspects that you can do in that game would make it a universal game to last. The only difference being this would be a first-person lock to this version. So you would not be able to go third-person anymore.
All right. Y'all need to fight it out because I'm interested in both of these. So, Sean, tell me a little bit more about Nevermind, or maybe slap back at GTA 5. It's up to you. The floor is yours, friend.
Yeah. So I'll start positive here. The current game of Nevermind, pretty cult classic-y. It's well reviewed for what it is on Steam. And the thing that's kind of holding it back is the accuracy of the biofeedback systems, which will have been improved over the past 5-6 years that it's since come out. Especially with being part of the problem was that it couldn't register things correctly, both from the feedback monitor and also I believe it had some kind of like ocular feedback, which would be easier to do if you have a headset on your head, which would improve that experience immensely. We've both agreed that horror is a surefire way to success and greatness in VR. And going back to Resident Evil 7, the reason I didn't go Resident Evil here is because the parts that worked great in VR were the scary parts in the first half, and then you got the weird, puzzly second half that always happens in a Resident Evil, which, depending on your mileage, can vary in quality, but also maybe isn't the best for a first-person VR experience. You could take all that out with Nevermind, and, have a game that will be a hit and probably too scary to finish, as the best horror games are.
Okay. Justin? A little more on
All
GTA.
Right. Actually, coming from someone who's played Resident Evil, I know Jelly knows I've played 7 times now and speedrun it in just over an hour, or just over 2 hours. I loved the games all the way through, and I would love to see 8 come to VR. I played 7 in VR on PSVR, and there's a lot of VRs, and I enjoyed it. Yeah, the puzzles are kind of hectic, but horror does sell good, but one thing sells better, and that's multiplayer. And being able to play in a VR chat, which is something that a lot of people are doing, but in a Grand Theft Auto aspect, being able to get in a car with friends and drive around, or go and rob places or do missions, you are able to do this from the comfort of your own home, playing in another world with your friends, doing anything you possibly can imagine, from flying planes to racing. Customization with racing is insane in that game, and it allows the game to prosper even more, which it has shown that it does. And I believe that if a VR version were to come out, it would sell like hotcakes because of the amount of customization and gameplay elements that you're going to get out of the time spent playing. And not only that, but you're able to work with your friends to do those things. So you're able to multiplayer wise solve missions and race and whatever you want to do in the GTA universe looking amazing. And I think that would sell better than a single player horror game, unfortunately.
Okay. Sean, let's hear you talk kind of negative here. Let's knock down GTA 5 a bit.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, I don't need to knock down GTA 5. It hasn't been a thing that I've experienced, but I respect it. I agree. It will, totally make sense. This is going to happen in VR. I believe there's going to be, 60 more years of GTA 5 the way it's going? Sure. It's got to end up on everything. Makes sense. It'll be on VR, but as a VR game, that doesn't mean, just because it's there, doesn't mean it's the best VR game. And I think with your recent turn in your argument focusing on all those vehicular movements, I think especially with the way that we know that AAA game studios usually work, not saying Rockstar is particularly in here, but it is part of a system, which includes, people like CD Projekt Red, Ubisoft, etc. I just feel like adding all these vehicular things is just going to be begging for motion sickness being a problem. Just widespread, and with all the crunch problems and stuff involved with that, I doubt that's going to be a problem they can fix easily enough for a majority of enough people for it to continue to be such a big cultural event as it is now.
I do understand that. Motion sickness is a big thing with VR, but that's with any game. It's about changing images, not about moving images. So when you turn your head and you have to look around very quickly, that's where you'll get motion sickness. And a lot of people get that, and that's why VR is kind of at a standstill right now. It's progressing slowly and not where it should be, but it will get there. And I believe that with a AAA backing it, they're gonna solve all the motion blur problems that it's gonna cause, opposed from a game that isn't gonna look as real, but it's gonna be a scary aspect single player. You're going to be able to focus on those things, sure, because you're not worried about what someone else is doing in your game because you don't have that multiplayer aspect. When you have those driving games, I've played Borderlands 3 in VR or the Borderlands VR, and it was, motion sickness because you're moving around and shooting in a world that you don't normally look at. Any VR game is going to cause motion sickness because that's about changing images. But I think that GTA and Rockstar are going to put the money behind it to make sure that this thing sells properly. Because the racing...
Sells properly, not works properly.
Yeah, well, Rockstar, Bethesda, everyone has problems with bugs, but when it comes to gameplay and storytelling, that's where GTA stars. And I think that...
People gotta get to it.
I really think that GTA is going to do much better than Nevermind. And I think that with the customization and with the team elements with multiplayer, you're going to have a lot more for your buck.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I have no idea where to go on this one. Dang it. I agree.
I just want to give you some time to think about it. I want to clarify the question. Is this about best game or best selling game?
Just what would make
That's up for you to say.
The best console quality VR. Which is part of it. I mean, because honestly, here's my biggest issue. We've got a game that has been being perfected for 8 years now with GTA 5. And then we've got a game that came out 6 years ago that was a good game and could easily be put into VR quality on a console because it's a little bit older style game. The graphics are there. It has the things that work the best in VR, which is horror. It's probably not going to be a super bright game, which means that the dark quality is going to work a little bit better for VR, especially for the looking around and being immersive. Dang it. I just don't know where to go with it. Okay. I think Nevermind takes it, even though I probably want to play GTA 5 more. So if I take my bias out, I think Nevermind wins. Because I think I want to play GTA 5 more. And that is a two-part thing. I hate horror games. So right there, I'm pretty much out of it. And I can pretend that GTA 5 is not a horror game, but is like a FPS drug kingpin style game. Which for me feels better. So I think I'm going Nevermind. I'm done. I don't think I'm doing. Do or do not. There's no try, right? So Nevermind takes it. But I don't think I would play it. I think it would make the better console quality VR game. However, yeah, I'm not picking up that headset. There's no shot. Justin, you can enjoy playing it. I know you would, but I'm out.
I would.
Okay. For the next question, we are doing a snake draft style pick. And it will be in honor of Suicide Squad. I would like for you, both of you, to assemble a team of 5 video game characters that would make up the ultimate Suicide Squad. And then you're going to have to fight it out and say why yours is better than the other. So, Sean, you won the last one. Justin, you have first pick. But the way
I'm going to go ahead and give it to Sean.
Okay, so you have...
You're gonna give it to me?
Perfect.
I have a clarifying question.
Yes.
What perspective of best Suicide Squad are we looking at this from? Are we Amanda Waller, the person putting together this thing, or are we talking about like an audience perspective? Because those are different for me.
Shoot. I didn't think about that as judge.
I chose
You
her
could just mix it up
choosing.
either way. Just wanted to know if you had one.
It's honestly, it's probably gonna have to come down to both, because you're gonna want audience approval, and you're probably gonna want them to be able to work well, also. And Amanda Waller's looking for the best Suicide Squad to handle the job, no matter the consequences. You know, no bars, no holes barred, something like that. However,
Which is also kind of like the reason I asked, and we can go with the mix. Just why I asked is Waller is probably looking for people that like people don't care if they're gone or whatever. But the thing that makes Suicide Squad entertaining is you do care a little bit about these people, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like Harley's on the Suicide Squad, but she's not gonna die, right? But like
Comes close.
Maybe if people in universe cared about her, whatever. Doesn't matter. Let's do this. I'm going first.
You're going, okay. And I, for the audience, if you don't know what a snake style draft is, because Sean's going first, he's going to go first pick. Justin has 2-3, back to Sean 4-5, back to Justin 6-7. Wait, 4-5, yeah, 6-7. Then 8-9,
Yeah.
and then 10 will go to Justin. And Sean, take it away.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Thane Krios from Mass Effect 2. He's the Lizard Man assassin.
Okay.
Thane Krios. All right. And Justin.
I'm going to go with... I also went with only evil people, because they're usually criminals that are in the Suicide Squad.
Fair enough.
So I went with villains.
Lots of people are criminals and not evil.
Okay. Villains, pretty much. I'll go with my eyes and ears pick, which is GLaDOS from Portal.
Wait,
and then
Gladys?
Yeah, GLaDOS. Yeah.
GLaDOS, yeah.
Is it OS or is?
It's OS.
It's OS.
Yeah.
Operating
It's a
system?
capital D.
That makes sense.
And then for my second one, I will go with the tank, or the inventor, and that's going to be Dr. Robotnik from Sonic.
Perfect. All right. Back to you. Sean, what have we got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Miranda Lawson service employee, Mass Effect 2.
Yep, okay. Voiced by none other than Yvonne Strahovski. Shout out.
Yep. Go along with these two is going to be Zayed Masani. Merc. Piece of crap. Mass Effect 2.
And what was the name one more time?
Zayed Masani.
And we're just guessing on these, so. All right, Justin, over to you. We need
All right,
3, 4, 5.
I'll go with my wild card, which would be Harley Quinn in this case, but it is going to be Handsome Jack from the Borderlands series.
All right.
You also could just have Harley Quinn. She'd just be in there. She's been in a lot of games.
Fair enough.
Not that we need
And
her.
then,
Feels like cheating. I think we have to disqualify
I'll go-
Suicide Squad members.
my other pick, I'll go with the Firepower, and that's going to be Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal.
Sweet Tooth. All right. Perfect. All right, back to you, Sean.
Yeah. I've got two more ladies coming up, Jack, and Jane Shepard, both Mass Effect 2.
They're shepherds. There we go. All right, Jack and Jane Shepard. And that will top out your Suicide Squad, right? There's 5?
Yep, that's 5.
Perfect.
And my last one is the Leader, and he's going to be one of my favorite NPCs in any video game, and that's going to be Andrew Ryan from BioShock.
Andrew Ryan from BioShock. Perfect. So, Sean, you're set up with Thane, Miranda, Zayed, Jack, and Jane. Justin, you've got Gladys, Dr. Robotnik, Handsome Jack, Sweet Tooth, and Andrew Ryan. I'm going to need you guys to fight it out because there's a lot of people here that I don't know. So you're going to have to explain it well and why they're the better squad. Good luck and go.
Sean can start. Good.
Okay, yeah. Well, this is not... All right. So, I think I'm just going to start broad appeal of this. So these are all people, the Mass Effect 2 squad. I'll admit first right up, the squad I picked, not everyone's going to survive based on how the suicide mission in their game went. I'm missing a key component for one of the missions, but that's fine. They're a suicide squad. People are meant to die here. I think the big pluses for this squad are that they are already proven to all be terrible people in some capacity, all criminals, war or otherwise. They have been shown to be able to be controlled by a government-like entity to do dubious things and also heroic things while being, for the most part, controlled in a way that their patrons like. Cerberus definitely got a lot of good out of controlling this crew. And and they're being hired by a morally dubious entity as well. So, sounds like a Suicide Squad to me. And they go on a suicide mission. It's in the song title.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Justin.
All right. Well, I didn't know this was going to be the Mass Effect Suicide Squad, but Mass Effect 2 Suicide Squad, which is a great game, and I loved it. But I believe that my Suicide Squad would win this battle. They are all different in their own way, and they all contribute different things, which is key to the Suicide Squad. They all have their different skill sets, and they all have their different aspects that contribute to the mission. We've got GLaDOS, the eyes and ears of the operation. She's grounded, but she's able to see everything with cameras, see everything and hear everything to give intel to the rest of the squad, which is one of the key components to missions going successful. We've got Dr. Robotnik, the inventor, the tank. He's known to get killed and come back. He can create mechs, anything he would like to fight the mission. We got Handsome Jack, the wild card, the funny guy, because every suicide has that one guy that's hysterical in everything he says. He doesn't care about anyone other than himself and the mission at hand. we got Sweet Tooth, a murderous clown face flame skull. I don't know if you know the story about him, but he was sentenced to electrocution, and someone put a curse on him to live forever, and that's why his head's on fire. Driving around in an ice cream truck, scaring the crap out of people and murdering them, whatever he needs to do to get the mission done. And then would you kindly look at Andrew Ryan?
Oh, don't worry. I've looked them all up.
Yeah, would you kindly do it again? Because he is the brains of this operation. He comes up with the plan for the Suicide Squad, the mission that is successful. He'll make enemies or the task at hand under his command, as if he was a puppeteer, making everything do the way he wants it to do. And one of the most evil, diabolical people that I've ever seen in a video game, because of the psychological aspect of it. He takes control of your mind.
Okay. Yeah, I need you guys to duke it out. I'm gonna be completely honest here. I've got a reason why the Mass Effect would make a great Suicide Squad, and I've got a great character list of a slew of random people thrown together as a good Suicide Squad. But why? I mean, why is yours better than Justin's, and why is his not as good? Justin, why is yours better than Sean? I mean, y'all are just telling me facts that I should or shouldn't know. I definitely didn't know about them. But why is yours better? Give me more.
You know, honestly, for mine anyway, it's the versatility of it. You know, all of the different characters in the Suicide Squad contribute different things to the mission. So they're going to be able to hit all the different aspects to make sure the mission is successful. They don't care as long as the mission gets successful. People are going to die. People are going to live. But the point is that they're getting the job done. And I think that with the different aspects coming in all at once, it's going to round out the team properly, better than all 5 coming from the same game. And I honestly, I don't remember the names, so I don't know much about the characters. If you could let me know what they do in particular that is different from one another, and how they can round out the team for them, that'd be great. Because honestly, mine is pretty rounded out with all the different aspects of the characters.
Yeah. I could do this favor for you, and hopefully Jelly soon would be able to do the same.
It'd be a big favor for me, that's for sure.
Yeah. So one question I'll ask is what else needs versatility and charming characters that are fun to watch? Oh yeah, video game NPCs. You think I'm out here just picking all the people the same stripes? No, they're all versatile. They have different things. They're gonna complete the mission. That's why they're chosen to join service in the first place. So we got Miranda. She's kind of a brainy lady. She does biotic powers, so kind of like Force stuff. And she's got like corporate espionage basically powers. She's not as all-knowing or as upfront manipulative as the man on your team, but she's dang good at it. And also, maybe actually a bonus that she's not as good because she's easier again to control. She's not as likely to go off book. Because one, she's bought in to this whole thing, and 2, she's got skill, but not enough skill to manipulate her way out of bondage. We've got Zayed. He's your typical brute force, do war crimes mercenary man, who ran a mercenary company. So he's got a bunch of skills for breaking and entering, doing violence, etc. The loud parts, at least. Followed up with Thane, just hugely infamous, well-known galaxy-wide bounty hunter, not bounty hunter, assassin, who does the sneaky breaking and entering, more violence, which is most of what these Suicide Squad missions are, is violence. But also he's got a softer, charming side, as one of the most beloved companions. So if the mission calls for a little bit of schmoozing and Miranda can't handle it, Thane's there for the other side of people maybe more interested in the Lizard Man. we have Jack. She is like the out-and-out rebel, also biotic, but has a different sway of it. Biotic powers have a variety of things that she can do. Miranda's kind of more shieldy. Jack is more like force-pushing sort of situations, in my experience. She's fun to watch. She is done enough to be expendable, but people are still going to like her. And again, most of these are shooty stabbies. And then Jane is the Mario. That's just your player character Mass Effect. By definition, OP, because it's a power fantasy game, and can fit into any role that the squad needs at that point. Also, you, again, being OP, you might think that might go against my argument that you don't want someone too powerful because they won't be able to be controlled. We've seen that Cerberus got more than their money's worth out of Commander Shepard during their time working for Cerberus. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I see that.
Well liked.
Yep, you got a little bit of everything there. I do think that Andrew Ryan and his psychological torment would penetrate your team from the beginning and turn them against each other. Andrew Ryan, yeah. Would you kindly look at Dr. Robotnik and the amount of creation that he can create to attack your team in one clean swipe? And with GLaDOS looking over, we'll know exactly where your team is.
That
and
kind of
he'll be
sounds
able
like
to...
a Geth army, and my guys take care of that pretty easily. And also, Suicide Squads don't usually fight each other. I mean, we could have this situation. I'll still fight it, but...
well, this question's all about which one would be better than your opponent, so we would be fighting each other.
Okay, sure, yeah. Then I'll accept this and say, sounds like a Geth army taken care of.
Okay. Dr. Robotnik's army would be taken care of after Andrew Ryan already infiltrated from inside.
So the whole thing about Mass Effect 2 is you're bringing together a disparate group of people, some of which already hate each other because Jack, part of the reason she's biotic is she was experimented on but as a child by Cerberus, the group that you are bringing her into to work for, and that is run, middle managered by Miranda, who's on the squad, and you make sure that they work kindly together as Jane Shepard. So, teamwork, baby.
Okay. You've got, the tank as Dr. Robotnik. You said you'd wipe out the army, no problem. That is your opinion. I think
that game a nightmare. I get it.
I think with Sweet Tooth coming in the front lines and Handsome Jack messing with you from the sidelines, and an army coming above while they know exactly where you are, and GLaDOS can do whatever she needs to do to make sure she tracks you properly, while Andrew Ryan is pulling the strings from up above. I think that you would kindly fall this fight.
See, even if you're introducing the looking from above situation, this again just sounds like the Collectors, which are a wave of enemies that are led by the godlike Reapers, but even then they have their own middle managers that are looking up from above and sometimes assume direct control. It's a known quote from there. It's like a general who has all the information on the battlefield above, coming down the battlefields telekinetically. Still took care of that. Easy. Done. Doesn't matter.
One of the big things with Andrew Ryan is all he needs is voice. The entire game of BioShock, all he used was his voice, and he got you to do everything he wanted. He controlled you from the first moment you dropped into the Rapture. He was controlling you.
You were a weak-minded, you were going through trauma, white dude, not used to experiencing that kind of level of trauma. You were pretty vulnerable. Not going to work here. Again, we've got the power of friendship. We've got people watching each other's back to make sure that... The thing with Andrew Ryan is he's working on one individual who has been isolated. The squad sticks together and make sure that when someone's isolated, they come back and come back to the fore.
Okay. I think it's a good fight, Jelly. Go for it.
I think it was a good fight. I thought I knew where it was going, but dang it. knowing more about the Mass Effect characters, what they were like, what they do, helped a ton for you, Sean.
And no spoilers for the most part.
That's awesome. It's okay if you do. I'll live. It's been out for like a decade plus, so
Yeah,
It's in a legendary collection now.
yeah.
that's true. Yeah, I guess the spoiler was the suicide mission, but that's like the point of the game. So
Yeah, and I already knew that, so we're good. We're good.
yeah.
As far as the fight, see that because I know Justin's team so well, I thought that's where I was leaning. I definitely at first it was, and he explained them as he was going out with the brains and the scientist, the tech guy, the talker, the tank, and then like the manipulator. Obviously helped a ton when you came back and were like, oh yeah, this is how my team operates and works. So, you know, just sock it to me. I think the Mass Effect team would win the battle between the two, but only by a smidge. And the only reason I think that they win that is because they're a team already, and they have that. They already have the camaraderie, like you said. They have the friendships there that they've built over time. Had you not mentioned those things, and had this been day one, I don't think that I could give you the win on that one. Because Justin's team is a bunch of absolute just titans.
Well, that's honestly how Suicide Squads are formed. They are chosen in select. They don't work together. You know, they ask, hey, did you work with her before? No, they've never worked together. So Suicide Squads are meant to be randoms.
Yeah, but the people who survive usually, you know, come back. I mean, Boomerang and Harley are together multiple times,
Yeah.
you know.
For a little while.
But, I mean, I will say that your pitch at your start at the beginning was also very much like the movies, where you're just like, hey, here's them, title card, what do they do?
Mm-hmm.
It was good. It was a good start for sure.
Yeah, it was strong. It was strong out the gate, like super strong. And I was like, this is easy. Like, this is gonna be easy pickings. Yeah, I think that the experience is going to win out. And I don't know if that would hold on though. I don't know if that would be forever. I think that given time, if the teams had been, you know, if this was 2 years in and these were the survivors, might be a different fight. Gosh, I don't know. Oh, this is a hard one. So yeah, Sean, I'm giving it to you based on experience, but honestly, I think those are really well matched. I think that the ragtag group would be good. I wish I knew more about some of the people in it. This is just a me thing. We've fallen into the classic I don't know video game characters well enough. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. Sean, you eked it out on experience. Justin, you had him in the beginning. Hands down. Absolutely hands down. We've got one more though. We're gonna find out. It's time for blind fight. Mike submitted this one, so you can thank him for how it goes. There was news released that Half-Life 2 has a fan-made remaster, possibly coming to Steam. It's been okayed by Valve, so this could be happening. So in honor of this, blind fight is, I would like you to give an established franchise, or Mike rather, would like you to give an established franchise to another developer and pitch the game. So you need to take an already established IP, hand that off to a different dev, and then create a game for me. Pitch me a game. Okay. Does that make sense?
Talk for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. Mike, shout out and thank you for this awesome question. Looks like they're actually gonna have to rack their brains for it, which is a great thing. It's what we want. It's what we're searching for. When you're ready, let me know, and then I'll let's see. Well, Sean, you You won the last round. So, Justin, it's up to you. You can either choose to go first and maybe prevent him from stepping on your toes and stealing the game and the dev. Or you can say, Sean.
Question.
What's up, Sean?
I said I very much doubt that will happen.
Yeah.
There's a small possibility, though, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead and read the question for me one more time. I want to make sure I got it right.
Yes, it is. I would like you to give an established franchise to another developer and pitch the game.
Okay.
So it has to already be an established thing. You're taking that from whatever developer created it. You're now handing it over to a new developer, and you're pitching the game they're creating.
Jeez. Sean, you go ahead if you're ready. You go ahead. I'm still like making sure.
Sure. Yeah. If I could learn alphabetical order, I would be done. But yeah, no, I got this.
A, B, C, D, E,
it
F, G,
is
H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P,
Yeah.
Q, R, S, T, U, W, X, Y, Z. There you go.
All right. So I'm looking up the actual developer here, but I'm gonna go with Donkey Kong Country is going to be developed by
I believe that was rare.
Hazel Light Studios. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the few ones I actually know.
Yep. So a rare game is going to be made by Hazel Light Studios. They're the people that did A Way Out and It Takes Two.
Okay.
So what this game's gonna be, it's gonna be a great, Donkey Kong Country is already basically like a two apes/monkeys are going out to almost always rescue somebody. I think the first one I think it was just take the bananas back, but after that it's basically been rescuing people, it's had like kind of pseudo 2-player, like only one person was really playing at a time, and you'd switch. Whoever was the front monkey would be actually in control of the whole squad for most of the time during that part. So we take that, and then the great, background culture that the Kong family has, the incredible music that's happening there, and we take all this and we throw it into an actually multiplayer experience where these two, related monkeys are going out there and saving the day through an incredibly expressive world that forgetting the name of the devs already that this dev is known for. For anyone that's played A Way Out or It Takes Two, they're going to be going on an expansive adventure with really tight mechanics, which Rare has already given them. But I can't wait for a hellish minecart level with the Hazel Light spin on it as like a mini game. Even Hazel Light has a lot of these moments where there's like the story's pretty good. It's there for the most part, but I guess in It Takes Two it's pretty good. Same with Donkey Kong Country, it's kind of there, but there are little like things on the sidelines that happen that are like a cool hang out with your friend experience. Whether it's like a little mini game that's happening, or it's like someone finds a guitar in A Way Out, and like depending on who picks up the guitar, a different like thing plays, and you have a neat little interaction about it. So you're just gonna have like Diddy and Dixie Kong going out trying to save Donkey Kong, and having a great true multiplayer experience, which is really the only thing that Donkey Kong Countries are missing.
All right,
in my opinion.
Sounds good. Justin,
Okay.
it's your turn, my friend.
I've got a curveball here, and I'm gonna go with it. I think I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna take the Legend of Zelda franchise.
Okay.
And obviously that's a Nintendo property, and it's been a Nintendo property since the get-go. I want to hand it over to Bethesda. Not only for the visual aspect, but let's make this thing multiplayer. Let's make a new game based in the Legend of Zelda universe where you're going around with 3-4 friends, going into dungeons, looking like a Bethesda game would. fighting Ganon, helping out people in towns, you know, the normal Zelda stuff, except you're going to be working with other friends in a multiplayer game element, and you're also going to be looking like a next-gen game. So it's going to be classic Zelda elements, so it's going to have that nostalgia, which is hard for Nintendo to let go of. I know it's a curveball, but throwing it into Bethesda Studios to make it look like a Fallout game in third person, or a Skyrim game in third person, you know, any of the Elder Scrolls Onlines, it's going to run smoother, look better, and have multiplayer elements on reliable servers.
Okay.
I think it's something that we all want and we would drool over just the thought of. But I think that it's something that will never happen, but it definitely does need to happen.
All right. I like the pitch. Sean, back to you.
Can I step in and say why it definitely shouldn't happen? I'm going to go negative straight off the bat.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the point of these fights. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Elder Scrolls Online, not developed by Bethesda. The only multiplayer game that has been developed by Bethesda is Fallout 76, which everyone that I've heard of playing it, not super great reviews on that experience. Another reason you should not give... Alright, so you're thinking of Legend of Zelda. Some great things about it are its colorful world. Literally, cast of characters. I'm sure Bethesda could get the colorful cast of characters. They do that. That's one of the things they're really good at, and the open worldness. Zelda's already been an open world, looking very good for possibly next gen for what it was at the time, with Breath of the Wild. What I really would not want to happen is for the Zelda experience to become super gray. Like, what it doesn't, not literally gray, but you know, like, the Fallouts are a lot of browns.
Muted.
Elder Scrolls are a lot of grays, especially like Skyrim. And I would just hate for Zelda to go through that.
Okay.
All right.
Understandable. Makes sense.
Also for multiplayer, not a lot of multiplayer experience. That's shown goodness.
I disagree, unfortunately. Back on the the GameCube, there was Zelda and the Four Swords, which was a 4-player Zelda game set in the Link to the Past world, and you were able to play with other friends. Of course, it was a 2D side-scroller, and it still looked vibrant. And I do think that Nintendo backing this project, handing it over to Bethesda, they're going to make sure that it still keeps that vibrancy. It's going to still look like Zelda. They're not going to gray it down. They're not going to make it look like it's a Fallout universe. They're not going to look... You know, Skyrim is a gorgeous, gorgeous universe. And at some times of it, you feel like you're in Zelda. Because you're throwing a sword around. You know, in VR, you're throwing a sword around and chopping through skeletons or whatever comes your way. You feel like you're in a Zelda game. But if it had the Zelda name and you're holding the Master Sword with 3 or 4 of your friends fighting along your side, I think it would do good. I don't think they would let it gray down. I understand what you mean, gray down. I don't think they're going to do that with it. Bethesda isn't known for the multiplayer aspects, per se, but I do think that they could do this. I do think that their open world elements would only add to The Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild was a great, great game, open world. But I do think that adding to it with Bethesda's name, making it 6 times bigger, you know, so much more to do, and then you've got friends by your side doing those things, I think it would do great. And I don't think they'll let it gray down.
Okay. All right. I mean, this is your argument. You can say they don't let it happen. It sounds like that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So they're keeping the color. Sean, give me more on Hazelites, Donkey Kong. What is it? It's country.
Donkey Kong Country.
Whatever you want to call it.
Taken like it's not going to be Donkey Kong Country 2, but like the pitch is coming from that in like 3 words, you know. Yeah. 2 siblings or cousins going on. Like I was saying, the things people love about Donkey Kong Countries is they're very tight. They're very good at teaching you how the game works. Incredible music, like I said. And even though it has like barely any dialogue or anything, you still have a feel for like who Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong, Dixie Kong, and cousin Baby. I think it's literally Baby Kong. Work. The reason that we're giving it to Hazelight again is because what we're doing, the only thing it's missing is the true multiplayer experience. You take that. Hazelight is good for both their games so far have been really interesting ways of having two players interact with each other with like asynchronous experiences or controls. Like they're in the same place, they're together on the mission the whole time, but like what it takes to each like level is slightly different things. Like someone has a hammer or a nail, someone either has like a goo gun or like a flamethrower to like light the goo on fire. They have good interactions in the same way that like having like Diddy Kong with like his little peanut shooter and like better jumps and then and like better kick flips or whatever, pairing with like Trixie's not Trixie, Dixie. Trixie's not going to be in this game as a playable character probably. With her like hair Princess Peaching like hair swoop to glide situation.
If I could ask a question,
it takes two. Yep. Sorry, what was that?
What if I could ask a question? What is your game gonna look like? Like,
What's it gonna look like?
Is it gonna be a 3D? Is it gonna be a platforming 2D side scroller? What's it gonna look like?
I think it's going to be it's going to Hazelight, so it's going to be like 3D platform, like platform like action adventure, but like kind of platformy is
so like
what
64?
I would say their thing is. What's up?
What?
Not like Donkey Kong 64. Yes, but yes, in that it's 3D, but it's not Rare doing this. It's Hazelight who have a track record of like knowing how to do it 3D movement and like things to work well with platforming. Not that I'm like knocking 64 is just not my thing. I would turn to Conquer for that. But yeah, it's a 3D game. It's mostly, it's not like on rails, but like there is kind of like a set path. There are some like again, there have to be like branching moments because the thing that Hazelight does is have like these little off paths where you go and like do like a cool small moment together, which is, you know, another good way of establishing the family dynamic that's happening here, and maybe why they're on this quest, because you don't get a lot of that in current Donkey Kong countries. But yeah.
Okay. I know you mentioned the soundtracks there a bit, and how the music makes the game. Donkey Kong does have a great soundtrack. Unfortunately, it is trumped by the Legend of Zelda soundtrack. The score from the Legend of Zelda beats Donkey Kong out of the... You know, Tetris is above Donkey Kong on lists. And
don't worry. We're going to get
Unless-
anyone can make a list.
we're
and I do
to.
think that
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda world or Legend of Zelda universe will have not a linear path. It will have main missions that you can go through with your friends, but the amount of side missions that are in Bethesda games that are never ending, you can just keep going with your friends, going through Legend of Zelda story after story, mission and dungeon. Could be procedurally generated for all I care. It would be excellent to have the playability that you could just keep going. And not only that, I know you mentioned Trixie's not going to be in your game. Excluding characters, Legend of Zelda will not...
She'll be a main character is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
She never
Legend
has
of Zelda
been so far
would never exclude a character. Every character...
You only play as Link.
That is true. This game would not be played from Link's perspective, unfortunately. This would be a universe game, so you would be creating your own character to go through it. Link would be a character that you would meet.
Yeah.
It'd be the
Trixie will, like I said, Trixie will be there. She just won't be playable, which is the same thing you're posing, except.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it. I mean, the game's not called Link; it's called Zelda, right?
Yeah, it's the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah. I think you just went into some dangerous territory here because you were just talking about how unending this game is, and we're pitching to Jelly here first and foremost.
Yeah,
He's got limited time.
That's fine.
And I think there's a lot to say about. There's nothing good or bad about a longer or shorter experience. It's whether it's how like dense that experience is, and how it conforms to a person's lifestyle. And I think it's equally good to have a focused game that you can get done. You have your good time with, and then it is done. And that's what I'll provide here with the Donkey Kong Country.
Honestly,
Okay.
I'm playing both of them.
Well, like, I don't see myself going back and playing Donkey Kong Country after I've beaten it. I see myself going back and playing Ocarina of Time. I see myself going back and playing Breath of the Wild because the story was so rich. It kept me indulged like a movie, and I kept playing over and over, going back and seeing what I could do differently. So I think the replayability
I get
is
that,
huge.
but also that's part of the Hazellight experience is that they have the good stories coming here, with their 2-player thing.
Okay, Jelly, I think you've made a decision. You look like you have.
Yeah.
I have. I'm also just coughing because my throat is scratchy as heck because there's fires out here and I'm breathing smoking like crazy. All right. Yes. Ironically enough, you both chose two very, very prominent games from my childhood. Duck took the big one, so kind of an uphill fight for you, Sean. But you chose number 2 because that's probably my second most played game of all time. Would be Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 2, and then Donkey Kong 64, which I had the Donkey Kong version of the 64, the see-through green one with the banana controller. So, yeah, didn't make it easy. Let's go to the points made. Duck, you laid out that Bethesda would be taken over. They're very good and rich for detail, story, characters. Can be known for muting, but you said that they weren't going to mute the colors. We're going to get a very vibrant and rich thing here. It would be different for them, probably a little bit. At least for as vibrant as Zelda normally is. But I would be very interested to see what that looked like. Yeah, I would really like to see that. Sean, you took Donkey Kong and gave it to Hazellight Studios, who just came out with It Takes Two, which is an absolute gorgeous game. Colors are on point, the physics are on point, like the playability, the controls, super tight, super good. I can imagine that if they took over Donkey Kong and gave them the same sort of world as immersive and fun to play in as It Takes Two has, that game's going to be absolutely insane. It's going to be like DK64, but on steroids. So I want to play that. With that said, I'm going to have to lean towards Zelda here. And Duck, you won out because you mentioned playability, story, and bringing friends into it. The bringing friends into it helped. Even though you were knocked down a peg from Sean saying Bethesda's not really good at that, the idea that I could even play Zelda with my friends in a way that we could go do dungeons together and go do like different, non-pivotal, like the side quests and story things in a world that is as big and immersive as something like Skyrim or Elder Scrolls, any of those, I'm all about it. I have replayed Breath of the Wild 3 times. Right now I'm on my 3rd and I'm going for 100%, and it is taking a lot of time. Too much. It's been on the back burner for a while now. But I'm going through looking for everything. And I would play the next Zelda one, hands down, especially from Bethesda, if it was as you said it was. And thankfully the fight is you get to say how it's going to be. You're making it as good as they can make it. So you're taking that one. But again, I would love if it was like It Takes Two, Sean. If that's
it's my game of the year. Yeah.
I can't believe I lost because Jelly hasn't owned a handheld console and no one plays the handheld Zelda games.
Well, no, I have a Switch right there for the YouTube audience.
Yeah, but that doesn't. Well, maybe does that have like 4 swords and stuff?
Does it have what?
Because you can play. There are like on the handheld games there are multiplayer Zelda games. that you could just do today and 20 years ago. I respect your decision, but also you should do those things if you're interested in multiplayer Zelda.
I am. I didn't know they had that. I've only ever played, obviously, single player.
But they don't have one that looks like a Skyrim.
Again, again, respect the decision, but also in the what's happening today, the Jelly could do if he wants a multiplayer Zelda
I
experience.
can walk right over there and play it?
I don't know if any of them are on the Switch, but like there was one for GBA for the DS's.
You're talking about link cables now, aren't you?
I mean for the GameCube ones.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I was way too
Wi-Fi.
close for that. And I definitely
There was the
didn't have a
GameCube
DS.
one.
I wish I did. I always wanted one.
The Four Swords was couch potato on the GameCube, so you were able to sit with friends and play.
Didn't have a GameCube either.
For sure.
Sad times for Jelly. Womp,
Yeah.
womp, womp. Which means we end up in a tie this week. So you're coming back. Obviously, you're gonna have to fight it out again. Unfortunate, obviously, for deciding a winner, but
Good fights.
absolutely fortunate for me because I get to judge another one. But we're in the leaderboard. And this one is a fun one for me. We have our top 5 video game soundtracks. And not that it's put on here, but we were going in the likes of orchestral or...
Like original soundtracks, not pieced together like a 20.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We will do one like that in the future. Don't worry. Probably next week, to be completely honest. So, top 5 soundtracks. You know how we do it. We each throw up 3, and then we pare down from there. Sean, you're up first. Sean, what are your top 3 soundtracks?
All right. I've got too many, but top one, 100% Outer Wilds. Pretty much anytime you bring this game, it's going to be the top of my things. It's so good at so many things.
Outer Wilds. All right.
Outer Wilds. Are we done doing all 3? All right.
Oh yeah.
Umurangi Generation. Definitely some recency bias out of these, but I also am expecting some classics from U2
Yep.
with what I'm picking. And out of these, let's go with Final Fantasy X,
Okay.
which honestly expecting a Final Fantasy from somebody else. But 10's my pick.
Don't worry, I'll give you one.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy X was great, though, by the way. I
Mhm.
can't knock it
Yeah.
at all, actually.
I'm going to say remaster because I want 10-2 on there. 10-2 is a masterpiece sonically.
10-2, the remaster.
So yeah, the remaster, so you get both. Way too long of a soundtrack, but all bang.
Debatable. Justin, you're up.
It's like 5
All
hours.
right, I'm going to take one of yours here with my top spot. It's going to be Link to the Past. Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. Classic. Great soundtrack. Sounded its age, but still sounds good today. And really set the bar for what they were coming out with in the future.
Okay.
Next, I'm going to go with a newer game that I have been playing. I have caught myself just pausing it and still listening to the music. Death's Door, from the smallest little increment of getting into a fight changes the music. And just listening to the orchestra play, these beats they're top notch. And a little bit of a callback, not too far back, is going to be Cuphead,
Ah, yes.
which was my vein of music. I love the soundtrack of that thing.
Fair enough. Okay, I've got my list here. Let me pull it up. I went through and I had to go through the old Rolodex and decide which ones were going to make it. I had to pare down myself here. And thankfully, you guys didn't take all the ones that I wanted. All right. I said I was going to do another Final Fantasy. It's Final Fantasy VI. It has one of the best soundtrack. Yeah. Yeah, one of the best of all time. And not to say that 10 isn't great, but 6, I think, follows the story easily as well may be better. We'll fight it out here and decide which Final Fantasy one or should be on the list. All right. I'm choosing Breath of the Wild. No shocker there. And the last one was a toss-up. Mike threw out one that he'd been listening to, and I thought about putting that on there. But also, he's not here. And so
Yeah, we don't need it.
maybe I'll just honorable mention his. For me, it was Ori and the Blind Forest, yes.
I knew it. I recommend it.
It's very good. I listened to it for like an hour earlier today while going through and listening to other ones to decide which ones were my favorites. So honorable mention, Ori and the Blind Forest. It is amazing. Sean, thanks for the recommendation to Mike, and then via Mike me. But I'm going with Tetris.
That's great.
It is my ringtone. It has been for I don't even know how many years. It is what I hear every time someone calls me. It is my wake up alarm. It is one of my favorite. And I'm thinking, Tetris theme, the OG theme. But honestly, all of their music is just, they're like classic style, 8-bit sound or MIDI sounding tunes.
Yeah, MIDI sounding
So,
for sure.
How do you beat that, right?
They're still regarded as one of the tops.
And now we've got 9. We need 5. Sean, what is your must-have on the list?
Outer Wilds.
Outer Wilds it is. All right, Justin? Must-have?
I'm gonna have to go with. God, you might pick Breath of the Wild, so I don't want to put a link in there. I think I'm gonna go with
Better let
Cuphead.
you go with it.
I'm gonna go with Cuphead.
You think Link to the Past is better than Breath of the Wild?
N-
You're going Cuphead?
I do, but I think I'm gonna go Cuphead. Yeah, just the originality of it it's got to be on there.
My E key is sticky. All right. Mine's hard because we have another Zelda and we have another Final Fantasy. We don't have another Tetris. I feel like Tetris makes the list maybe without choosing it as my must-have. And I can.
Oh wow, you're
I know.
getting political about
I'm
this.
trying to game.
I could have argued Outer Wilds to death. I would have gotten on there regardless. But that's why it was my must-have. I'll say you probably win the Final Fantasy. My experience of that is hindered a lot by not having played anything. I played a tiny bit of 7, but I didn't like it, so would never put that on there. But anything before 9, so I've heard that 6 is amazing. I believe it should go up above 10, but
That is completely up to you. I haven't played either of them, so
Oh, they're so good.
yeah,
10 is.
I
so
believe it.
good,
I'm not
though.
there yet, but I could be swayed. Is what I'm saying.
Here's what I'll do.
not
I
put 10.
think we just take a Final Fantasy. I'm gonna go with Tetris, and we're gonna have the Final Fantasy battle and the Legend of Zelda battle, possibly. Tetris is my pick.
Makes some huge assumptions here.
I mean, you're gonna have to battle it out for Umurangi Generation. That's what I'm saying. I've
Yeah.
never heard the soundtrack. How is it?
Which is a huge mistake. I went on your show, the Game of the Year edition, and pitched that as an award-winning soundtrack, and none of y'all even bothered to look at this game at all. You or even listen to it. Disgusting. You should all be ashamed.
I'm
Not you,
being
just
shamed into
because
it.
you weren't
right
there.
now. I'm just
I
like-
haven't actually heard of the game, honestly.
Yeah, I figured I'm coming out here with games that people do not play, and I understand this.
I mean, you just go from the small dev houses, the ones who make really great
Yeah.
games. Nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that.
The one hitters are always good, for the most part.
All right,
Yeah.
we need a top 2. Or we need 2 more, not top 2. We've got
Two more,
3.
yeah.
We need 2 more. We need top 5. My goodness, it's been a doozy of a day. So what makes it? We've got Zelda Link to the Past. We've got Zelda Breath of the Wild. We've got Final Fantasy 6 or 10, and then Death's Door or Umurangi Generation.
Have either of you played Death's Door?
I have not. I have simply watched and listened to
I haven't.
a bit
It's
of
my wish list.
I listened to a bit of the soundtrack because it was recommended.
Same.
It did not beat out the ones that I have chosen, but maybe playing it has a bit to do with that.
Oh yeah. I would fight Link to the Past over Breath of the Wild for sure.
John, you're
growing up with Link to the Past.
You're the deciding vote on that one.
Oh man, you're gonna have to give me a moment because there's one. I'm gonna check out the one specific thing in both games. Sorry, does Link to the Past have Gerudo Valley? Actually,
that's a great question.
That is my number one Zelda song in any form, and I was gonna compare the two. But if one of them doesn't even have it, they got Desert Palace. All right, yeah, I'll check out the song.
All right. Just imagine
Enjoy.
the Jeopardy theme here. I might be willing to say Final Fantasy X. Possibly. I've heard it more recently.
And I would be willing to let me get back over here. I would be willing to give something I've never heard of a spot to get Link to the Past on the top 5.
Oh, you want to sell your
Wow,
vote?
that's so generous.
To Umurangi?
I can't. That's beautiful to me.
You're such a sellout.
I'll make the pitch. I can't find this freaking.
Shelly's so upset.
I mean, hey, this is Test Your Might, and y'all can work against me. That's fine. I'll just remember it for next time. That's all I'm saying. Judge a little bit harsher.
I doubt it.
I might not. We'll see. My memory is so good.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm the most mediocre of memories. Oh wait, that's not good. Average. Substandard.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Okay.
Finally got it.
Justin, you really gonna sell me out like that? You're gonna give Umurangi Generation the spot so you can have Links to the Past?
I want Sean to listen to both and decide on his own account. I want it to be fair.
Yeah. Okay. Desert Palace is starting out weak because it doesn't have that song, but it's not bad. Like the equivalent isn't shoddy at all.
Okay.
And then Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild for sure got Gerudo.
Remember Gerudo Valley or Gerudo being 2, which is day. That's not really what I want. There, day.
Bam.
This is great. Podcast content.
Hey, we're good. We're at the end of it. Hey, if you guys are still here, thanks. I mean, you guys are the true listeners right here. If you're still here this far into it, and we're right here in the top 5.
Neither of them have it. All right, neither of them have that song, so my test is void.
Which one was better? The two you
going
listened
with
to?
Past.
A Link to the Past. Damn it.
Yeah, between the two,
sorry,
it's got
child friendly.
I'm very
darn
sorry, Joe.
it. Link to the Past is making it. I am not giving up my spot. We need a Final Fantasy on here. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying between the two
Generation.
Zeldas. I don't know, man.
I know.
All right, I'm gonna pitch. I'm gonna try to pitch this game. I wish I'd put Umurangi as my must-have because I would have sold the crap out of this one. All right, Umurangi Generation. It is a game about. All right, it's an 8-bit game where you are taking pictures in a currently apocalypsing future. There are kaiju happening. In the main game, there's kaiju happening, and you're basically touring. You're fleeing home and trying to make money being a photographer as you get to safety zones away from this kaiju threat. While the UN's trying to maintain that kaiju threat or whatever. It's coming from a lot of very specific cultural things happening. It's made by a Maori game dev, and specifically a response to very tragic wildfires that have been happening. Umurangi Generation stands for Red Sky Generation from the fires, and it being pretty apocalyptic. So what the soundtrack is doing here besides just being just slapping, is it is both diegetic and non-diegetic, so like it's happening in the world sometimes and sometimes not. But all of it fits the like this like future punk, not cyberpunk, but like this future street punk vibe that is happening. That's what is the that's the opposite of like black and
I
white.
think I'm
It's
gonna have to
highly,
bounce, unfortunately.
It's like highly contrasted. It's like
Posterized.
fitting that if you like look at a screenshot of the game, and then imagine like a like chill hop kind of thing, maybe a little less chill on that side, no vocals, you'll imagine what the soundtrack is, and then just times that by 10. The thing about it is that the game is saying particular. I'm missing Justin.
Well, he'll be back probably. I certainly hope so.
All right, so yeah, the thing about the soundtrack is that the game is saying some really cool things without any dialogue, and the music is helping to convey the place that you're in, which is super fundamental to what the game is doing and what it's trying to say. And it represents a specific people. It again, it just goes so hard, and it really is. It's hard unless you're a photographer. It's hard to get people to play a game that's literally just photography. And this soundtrack is definitely a thing that I've seen keep a lot of people getting to the part where they understand why you're just taking pictures in this world. So the soundtrack's doing a pivotal thing there. Obviously, no one I actually know in real life, because no one plays my tiny games. But yeah, it's just a great soundtrack, and it serves a core purpose. Not that Zelda and Final Fantasy soundtracks don't also serve purpose and aren't like great among themselves.
Yes,
but I think this is doing more with its quality than necessarily what the other two franchises do with it.
I took the opportunity whilst you were explaining it to pull up Umurangi Generation soundtrack. Just listen to about 4 or 5 different ones, 30, 40 seconds of each one. Then compared it to Final Fantasy X. So I figured that was an easier battle to win than going 6. I think 6 is what you're talking about, fitting the game, how the soundtrack that kind of walks you through the game better. I think 6 would work better than 10. However, I think Final Fantasy X beats out very narrowly Umurangi Generation, and that's only because I would love some lyrics to those songs. Like if there was like lyrics, like rap verses to go over the beats that I was listening to, like the beats were sick. I love instrumentals.
Yeah, I would say it would be great, but also I do want to counterpoint like Ueda is not the one that does. You probably also don't know this. I should know it. A lot of there's 1 or 2 like good vocal songs in the Final Fantasy that producer does, and they are in Final Fantasies. But I think more often than not, the lyricless Final Fantasy songs are better than the voiced ones.
Yeah, I'm gonna go no lyrics on Final Fantasy stuff. That's hot trash.
Yeah.
Maybe not. That's rude to the people who did it. But the instrumental, orchestral, piano, stuff like that from specifically Final Fantasy X hits me differently because I'm a piano nut.
For sure. No, I'm totally into that. Oh, I have a whole YouTube playlist of like those sort of piano only songs. I get you.
I'm fighting for Final Fantasy, and I'll say 10 instead of 6 if you're willing to compromise.
Yeah, it's only the two of us. We can meet in the middle here with 10. I'll give a quick pitch on why 10. From what I do know, because I can't compare it to 6. I'm sure they both have emotional resonance moments.
Absolutely.
I'm 6 probably has a variety. I think between 10 and 10.2, there's probably a greater variety, just because 10.2 adds the for lack of a better phrasing, like what people like the Persona 5 effect.
Okay.
Where people like the lively, jazzy Persona 5 soundtrack, which is like good but not great. People just hadn't listened to Chaz before. And I think the liveliness that like X2 adds on top of like what X was already doing when it revisits these locations fits the story more and adds like more variety. That's pretty cool. So
deal. 10. 10's taking the win. All right, we've got our top 5. We don't have a duck, but hey, we're still gonna say his picks. I might just cancel him out because he's not here. You can't defend him. Just kidding. We've got our top 5 soundtracks in no particular order as usual. Outer Wilds, Cuphead, Tetris, Zelda, Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and in 5th place we've got, or last to be mentioned, is Final Fantasy X. We're throwing out the honorable mention for Mike. It's going to be Ori and the Blind Forest via Sean. So Sean, you got a couple picks on there. And if you haven't listened to any of the ones that we've mentioned, please do yourself a favor and enjoy all of these soundtracks. They're all good. You can't fault them. If you do not like them, hit me in the DMs where it hurts. Say my picks are trash, whatever you want. I'm always willing to read your texts. Yeah. And Justin ain't back yet, but we know he loves you guys. One more thing. Yeah.
Since we're on soundtracks, if you like the discussion that we were doing about the soundtracks, there is a games writer that's did like a whole series on like I think it's like an audio log series where she went and listened to a bunch of video game soundtracks and writes very well and lyrically about them. She wrote a great short fiction piece about the song for Modula in Dark Souls 2, which as a soundtrack, it's a lot of boss fight songs, which I could take or leave, but like she almost made me cry writing about Modula, which is like the hub location of that game.
All right.
So check out Dia Lucina. She wrote about a bunch of video game soundtracks at Paste.
Okay. We will try and get that linked below. So all you have to do is click. That'd be awesome. And I mean try because I'm going to forget. So Mike, when you listen to this, put it in there. I love you, buddy. All right. If you're still here, we love you. Thank you. Please leave us a review. If you love what we do and want to support us, Patreon, everything over there, all of our content on there is free, completely free. You guys can check it out, see all the articles that Mike is writing, and enjoy that. If you want to help support us to continue doing this and grow bigger, little as $1 a month, which is basically nothing. We would love to have your support, and we thank you guys for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.